Hello, today we are talking about silver nitrate. So, I really enjoy this book. I feel like it is a very fun read. I really love the author's style of writing. Now, there is one thing, I don't think it's bad, I actually enjoy it, but I could see some people not liking it. So, the two books that I've read so far by this author, I feel like she follows a pattern or like she follows a typical cliche. That pattern is basically the main character is a young woman who is struggling with the villain or the antagonist, and they give her a chance for power, and like they tempt her with that power, and she is tempted to use it, and she has to kind of like pull back and be like, no, that's not who I am. Like, I need to be better and I need to defeat this power. And then another trope she uses is like this underdog love story. It's like these two characters who she builds up chemistry between them, and she builds up a solid like foundation for a romantic relationship. It's almost as if they're coming together despite all the odds. Like I said, I enjoy it, but I could see someone, if all of her books follow that pattern, I could see someone feeling like it's very repetitive. Now, Silver Nitrate is about this young woman who she edits audio for movies, and she's very horror obsessed, so she loves horror movies and all things that. She's got a best friend who she has been in love with since early childhood, but they've never been romantic, they're just friends. And one day, that friend meets a director who he really admired and who his best friend loves because he did horror movies. And they start talking about this film that he never was able to finish. And as they're talking about why he never finished it, they find out that he was working with this guy who deemed himself this like great sorcerer or magician, and he was going to cast a spell that would bring everyone good luck and it would be amazing, but those weren't entirely his true intentions. And he asks them to dub it with him, and then things supernatural start happening. So within this book, the main antagonist is just, he's a villain that you love to hate because it's so easy to hate him because he's just ugh. Like, as you start to learn more about him, you're like, oh, I hate everything about this because he's not a good person. He's very manipulative, and like he has gross beliefs on like the human race and races and like he's racist, he's classist. He's just a gross human. So she writes her villains well. I don't know if I would say that these are straight up horror novels. This is one where it has elements, but like it's not a ton of horror. So there is one scene in this book that like, ooh, I'm like, oh, gives you the chills. But it's only that one scene really, and that's about it. Her scary scene in this novel is Tristan, the main character's best friend. He goes home, like they've celebrated their turn of good luck. Everybody's had something positive happen after they've dubbed this film that the director asked them to help him on. And they all have something positive happen. So everybody celebrates, and her friend, the main character's friend, decides he's going to drink with the director because that's how they want to celebrate. The main character doesn't really drink because that's just not really something she's into. So she takes him home and puts him to bed and is like, I'll see you tomorrow when you're sober. Halfway through the night, he wakes up and he goes and uses the bathroom. And as he comes out into the hall, he sees a woman standing down at the end of the hallway, and she's turned around, so her back is to him, and she's going like this. And he thinks it's his friend, the main character. So he calls out to her, but he also like immediately realizes it is not her. She doesn't fit the like height and body type. Like, it's not her. The woman turns around, and it is a ghost from his life. But like, that scene is very chilly. Like, she writes it so well that it's like, ugh, hate that. But that's about it. That's like the scariest it gets, is that scene. So if you're not really into horror and you just want an overall good book with like elements of horror, but it also has elements of romance, like the endings of her two novels that I've read, this one included, they are very sweet and they're very wholesome. And I love that like the main character gets a happy ending. I love that. I love a happy ending. So, yeah, if you are wanting a well-rounded book with little bits of horror, but it's also got a little bit of everything, I think she's a great author. So, overall, I'm going to rate this a 10. I loved it. If you asked me what I would rate it on the horror scale, maybe a 3. But like I said, overall, very good book. I will reach out and read more of her books because so far I have been impressed and I've loved them. She hasn't failed me yet. Check her out. If you haven't read her, you should. She's a great writer, and I think everyone should read at least one of her books. So, yeah, thank you.